What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Julia and today we're doing a good old-fashioned little Q&A, okay? I put a little question box on my story. I got so many amazing questions from you guys, so we're gonna run through them rapid fire because if I give myself any more time than like rapid fire timing, I'll talk forever. We know how I am. I'm a chatty Cathy. I could literally go on and on. But before I answer your guys' questions, I have two questions for you all, for whoever it pertains to. Question number one, if you have the Ninja Creamy, is it worth it? Like, could I theoretically just freeze a Fairlife protein shake like in my Ninja blender head thing, cup thing, and then blend it the next day? I should probably try that. Could I somehow like use my KitchenAid mixer, freeze the mixing bowl, pour a Fairlife shake in there, mix it up? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Is it worth the investment when I already have two blender-like things and Fairlife protein shakes? Anyway, question number two. If anyone has the base weekender bag, is it worth it? I'm hoping the answer is yes because I already purchased mine. It just hasn't come in the mail yet. I am currently awaiting its delivery. Unfortunately, it's not going to be in before I leave for my trip tomorrow morning, but it'll be here for the next trip. And I am so freaking excited for it. I really hope it is worth the investment and worth the time because it's really taken a long time to get here. But oh well, I'm very excited. Love the whole shoe compartment thing. And I just fell victim to all of the influencer marketing that they have going on. It's really incredible. So I'm very excited for that. And I would love to know your guys' thoughts on the whole base travel bag collection because I'm literally sold on all of it just because of their marketing. It's absolutely incredible. But anyway, let's get to my actual questions. Like I said, I'm a freaking chatty Cathy. So the first one says, how to not stress about going away but not being able to eat your regular meals. Perfect timing. I literally leave for Scottsdale, Arizona tomorrow for my brother's fiance's bachelorette party, so my soon-to-be sister-in-law, and I'm so freaking excited. But I think it's pretty simple. Don't stress about what you can't control. If there are snacks you can bring them. If you know what restaurants you're going to, maybe look at the menu ahead of time so you can kind of get a feel for what you're gonna order. And keep in mind, at restaurants, the customer is always right, and restaurants are so freaking accommodating. Usually there are tons of healthy options on menus nowadays, and if there aren't, or like aren't options that fit your specific like dietary requirements, you can pretty much always ask for some type of substitution, something left out, something on the side. Like, restaurants will understand, and you can still find very easy ways to eat a healthy, nutritious diet if that's what you want to do while you're on vacation. But I really just try not to stress about it. I try to go with the flow and just enjoy myself because I always say this, my diet is all about balance, the whole 80-20 rule, and that pretty much allows me to enjoy whatever I want to consume whenever because I understand the whole concept of everything in moderation. So that would kind of be my tip. Don't stress about what you can't control, and if you can control it, do everything in your power to help yourself feel your best, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I don't know. Next question says, how do you go about the timing for your pre and post workout? If you guys saw 2 videos ago, I always have a coffee and bagel for my pre-workout, and I always have a Fairlife protein shake for my post-workout. And I don't really have any like specific timing for my pre and post-workout, but I'm someone who wakes up starving. So I roll out of bed and I have some water, coffee, and bagel. Then I typically get some work done on the computer for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then I get into my lift. I always work out in the morning. It's just what I prefer. I have a very flexible schedule. I'm blessed and I can work out early in the morning. So usually I consume my pre-workout, coffee and bagel, and then within 30 minutes to an hour, I'm doing my lift in the garage. And then when it comes to my post-workout, I'm also starving towards the end of my workout, but I'm also disgusting because I live in Florida. I have a garage gym and I get so freaking sweaty, but I love it. So typically after my lift, I come inside, hop right in the shower, and then after I shower, I have a Fairlife protein shake. So I would say my post-workout is consumed within like 10 to 15 minutes after my lift. Next question, I feel like this is a loaded one. It says, how is the transition moving from Pennsylvania to Florida? I feel like I could talk about this one forever. I'm gonna do a little pro-con list, okay? Pros about Pittsburgh. I worked at F45 there. It was absolutely incredible, okay? Some of the best people I have ever met in my entire life. And I've been to other F45s, and the vibe, the people, like nothing even comes close to the vibe and people and just like atmosphere at the F45 in the Pittsburgh Strip District. It is absolutely incredible. Love those people so freaking much. So easy to make friends there. Like, still some of my best friends in the world are from F45 training in Pittsburgh Strip District. Love it, okay? Also, I lived with my now fiance and 2 other guys. It was so freaking fun. It had its moment, you know? Like, we share so many unfortunate but hilarious memories because of our 2 years there. And also the food in Pittsburgh. Like, I've traveled a lot of places, okay? I've been to other countries. I've been to a ton of different states in the US. I love food. But when you live in Pittsburgh, you are literally spoiled with the best restaurants in the entire world. Like, the food there, literally unmatched. So I would say F45 and all the people there were incredible. Living with 3 guys, it was a journey. It was hilarious. It was some of the best years of my life, but it had its time, you know? And then the freaking food in the city was immaculate. Now the cons. Literally the gloomiest, cloudiest, rainiest city in the world. Like, I always thought that was Seattle. No, does not stand a chance. Pittsburgh is so freaking gray, and you guys know me. I get outside every single day of my life, and I did when I was in Pittsburgh too. My walks were just slightly less enjoyable because they were so dark and cloudy, and I was always walking through rainstorms, snowstorms, ice storms, you name it. I walked through it all. I enjoyed being outside, but I didn't enjoy the elements, okay? So the weather was a big, big con for me. Also, the place I lived with the 3 guys was, it was bad. It was very crappy, okay? If you want to have an incredible experience in Pittsburgh, you gotta have more money than we did. But we were also staying in like a house that normally like students stayed in because the guys were all in school. Like, I moved there after graduating, they were all a year younger, so like they were still in school. So it was technically like student type housing. It was nowhere like near campus or anything, but it was like meant for young kids who didn't really care about the state of their house. So that was very crappy. Worst landlord property management team in the entire world. We didn't have working heat. Pretty sure that's illegal. Like, legally, there was only like 1 bedroom, but technically like 3 bedrooms. Just like maintenance issue after maintenance issue after maintenance issue, but that wasn't even the bad part. Like, the bad part was the location and all the violence. Like, I feared for my life almost every single night there. I'd have the police scanner on because lots of violent things were happening outside of our house. But yeah, if we lived in a safer neighborhood, I would have had a much better experience. So our neighborhood was a big, big con. It was kind of walkable though during the day, during the daylight hours. I felt a lot better, just not at night. And city living, it was just not for me, okay? I could walk to a lot of places, did not feel very safe walking a lot of places. However, I preferred walking places because parking was such a nightmare. Like, specifically at our house, a nightmare. I would come home from work and I would drive around for 1 to 2 hours just trying to find a freaking parking spot somewhere near my house, typically blocks away. And like I said, it wasn't the safest part of town, so I'd fear for my life sprinting back to my house late at night. But yeah, I am so freaking glad we moved to Florida. For one, the weather is so much better. This house, so much better. We have a driveway. I don't ever have to worry about parking. It's just me and Cameron, and I think that moving here was like really good for our relationship just because, like I said, we lived with 2 other guys, and like that had its time. It had its moment. It was super freaking fun, but I think we were very ready for it to like just be us in a house and like be on our own. And I absolutely love that. I love having a garage gym. And despite not training clients out of my gym, my business has grown a lot since moving down here. And I feel like my whole quality of life has just improved. But as far as moving from Pittsburgh to here, the transition was actually extremely smooth just because both Cameron and I work remote. I have my own online personal training business, which has just improved since moving down here, which is absolutely incredible. And he works remote, he just needs like his computer set up. So that whole part was very smooth. We obviously love our house down here. I have everything I could possibly need right here in this house, which is kind of a blessing and a curse because it makes it really hard to make friends. Like that's something I need to get better at. I need to get better at actually like getting myself out there, being in social situations where there are other people my age. Like I would love to organize like a hot girl walk club or something down here just to meet other people my age who have similar interests. So maybe that's something I'll do in the next few months. However, I don't really know how many people would attend. So we shall see. So overall, loved Pittsburgh because of the people. But I do love it here a lot more. Even though I'm farther from friends and family, like I'm in a cool place that people want to travel to, they want to visit. I've been back to Pittsburgh, we've gone home, we've had a ton of people from home come here. Like we make it work, you know? And it is the people that make the place feel like home. So obviously like this feels like home because Cameron's here. My grandparents are also down here. We go visit them every single weekend. It makes their day, it makes our day. Like it's so nice being so close to them. I know they really appreciate it and love having us down here. So that just makes my heart very happy. But yeah, I knew that was gonna be a very long-winded answer. Loved both places, but I definitely prefer living down here in Florida. Next one says, I know you're doing your program, but are you currently doing another cut? So my cut 12-week training program is titled Cut. However, I am currently not in a cut this round through. Like my cut 12-week training program is my exact workouts, my exact training split, like the exact way that I train. However, I am not like purposefully in a calorie deficit right now. I'm not trying to do another cut. I'm gonna save that for closer to our wedding. So right now I'm pretty much just in a maintenance phase going through the cut 12-week training program with you all. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I released a 12-week training guide. It is available for instant PDF download. I will have it linked down below. It is my exact workouts, my exact training split, the sets, the reps, the rest times, how I go about choosing weights, like all of that is in the program, and everyone is doing it, is absolutely loving it, and it makes me so freaking happy. Next question. Any specific changes you'll be making to your training leading up to your wedding? I haven't like fully decided yet, but I do think I am gonna do a big emphasis on glutes just because I am so freaking quad dominant. I know that's an excuse, but it's like so hard for me to feel an exercise in my glutes. There are very few exercises that when I do them, I'm like, yep, that was my glutes. Like my quads, my hamstrings, they always try to take over. So I really, really want to emphasize my glutes leading up to the wedding. And then I might even cut back on upper body more than I currently do. Like if you know my workouts, you know that my upper body days are quick, like 25, 30-minute upper body lifts, and then my lower body days are a lot longer. So I might cut back on the upper body a tiny bit more, maybe add some more like low intensity, like Pilates style movement in. But like I said, I haven't fully decided. I just know there's gonna be more of an emphasis on the glutes. So my workouts will probably be really repetitive, but just trying to focus on progressively overloading certain exercises for my glutes. Next question says, how would you train for a marathon while trying to maintain muscle mass? If you want my honest answer, if this were me training for this marathon, Julia Merwin, I would wing it because that's just how running works for me. I do think I have a really, really good aerobic base built up just because I was a competitive gymnast my entire life. Lots of strength and conditioning throughout my Division I experience doing gymnastics at WVU. And then I walk an incline walk so freaking much that I just think I have a really good aerobic base built up from that, because whenever I do run, it's never that difficult. Like the 2 times in my life where I actually did like a race, one was a real race, like I actually registered for it and raced a 10-miler in Pittsburgh. I signed up for it 5 days beforehand, went on like a 3 or 4 mile run that same day to just like see how I felt. And then I kind of wung it on race day. I think I finished with like an 8:15 pace, and it was so freaking fun. And then a few weeks ago, this wasn't an actual race, I literally went out for a 3-mile run and it turned into a half marathon. I literally ran a half marathon within my neighborhood. Probably sounds so freaking boring, but I actually had a blast. I was listening to a bangin' playlist and I felt good. So I just kept running and I ended up winging a half marathon, and I finished with like another 8:15 pace, I think. Like I think it was very similar pace-wise to my 10-miler, and it was a whole lot of fun. But yeah, I totally wung it, and I hadn't ran in like weeks, if not months, leading up to that. So if it were me, I would wing it. But if I were like coaching a client through training for a marathon while trying to maintain their muscle mass, I would definitely still have them focus on strength training, but probably add in like 2 runs a week and then a lot of like low impact steady state cardio, just because I truly think it does so much for building up your aerobic base. Like I feel like I am evidence of that. I really don't run that much, but I walk a ton and I incline walk a ton. And running is just easy for me because of that. And I really think if I didn't walk or incline walk as much, running would be a heck of a lot harder. So when it comes to like the mileage, I would have to like write that out and kind of see a timeline for when they have that marathon. But there'd probably be like one chill, long, slow distance run in there, and then one kind of a little bit more focused on like speed if that client even wants to like hit a certain time for that marathon. But yeah, there would definitely be an emphasis on some low intensity, steady state cardio as well. I'm no expert on this. This is literally just what comes to my mind right away. I've never trained a client who's also training for a marathon, but I like that this person said while trying to maintain muscle mass, because your strength, specifically your leg strength, is so freaking important when it comes to running. So I would definitely make sure they're still doing some lower body lifts while incorporating some running. Next question, go-to easy meals. My number one go-to easy meal is the Costco Mediterranean chopped salad kit with some rotisserie chicken on top. It never fails me. It hits the spot every time, and it is so freaking good. When it comes to like easy dinners, I love like salmon, veggies, potatoes, anything you can just like throw right in the oven. That is my jam. We've also been grilling burgers lately, and those are just delicious as well and super easy because I don't grill. So I don't have to do it. I just like toast the buns and cut some lettuce and stuff. So that's super simple dinner on my part. Cameron does the grilling. But yeah, anything you throw in the oven or just like a salad you throw together with some protein on top, beautiful. A+ in my book. How do you survive a cut without feeling so hungry all the time? I have an entire YouTube video on this. First of all, it's totally normal to feel hungry when you're in a calorie deficit, because you're literally giving your body less calories than it's used to. However, you wanna make sure you're not in too much of a calorie deficit. So it does kind of take some trial and error to find what number of calories or like amount of calories works best for you. Like I was never like starving to a point of like uncontrollable hunger, just because I stay in such like a very minimal calorie deficit when I am in a cut. And it's really important to mention that cuts are just supposed to be phases. It is not something you stay in for a long period of time. I feel like I always try to emphasize this. The longest cut I will ever put myself through or a client through is 12 weeks. After that, you need to build those calories back up through a reverse diet, because it is not healthy to stay in that calorie deficit at those cut calories for a super long period of time. So if you're absolutely starving, like uncontrollably starving, maybe bump up those calories a little bit more. Like maybe you don't need to be in that much of a deficit, because my deficit was never anything crazy. I always say like a 200 to 300 calorie deficit, just because I know I'm getting a ton of movement in, and I say the exact same thing to all my clients, because I know they're getting a lot of movement in through the training programs I'm creating for them. So there's no need for them to go into a crazy calorie deficit, cutting tons of calories, eating way less food than they're used to, when they're also exercising more than they're used to. So maybe just kind of double check those calories and make sure you're still eating a sufficient amount, just slightly less than your maintenance. Next question says, how was the transition out of D1 athletics to the fitness industry for you? Honestly, it was kind of a blur just because I was a 2020 grad, so COVID year. Everything was so freaking uncertain. We basically just got sent home in March. It was the night before my senior night at gymnastics, so that never happened. Very sad, still sad about that to this day. But yeah, we got sent home. Gymnastics ended abruptly. Strength and conditioning was over. I was already a personal trainer. Like, I became certified in the fall of my senior year and started working at the campus rec as a personal trainer, and I was working at the F45 there. So I obviously lost that job because we got sent home. Like, no one was allowed on campus. So once I got home, I pretty much just kind of accepted the fact that I was gonna have tons of free time, and I kind of knew that we weren't gonna get to go back to school or like finish season or anything like that. So I pretty much just went all in, created my own online personal training business, and just hit the ground running from there. I would work out at home because gyms weren't open. I would train clients online. I made ebooks, and I kind of just dove into it head first and made it work. And I'm really glad that I did, because like everything obviously worked out, but it was kind of a journey figuring out what training style worked best for me. Obviously, once I moved to Pittsburgh, I kind of went the whole like HIIT route. I had very light weights at my house, but nothing crazy. I did lift heavy when I could at F45, but like there's no squat racks or anything. And I really missed that because in college we had 2 lifting days a week, and I loved those days. I felt so strong, and I loved seeing how it impacted my gymnastics. But once I was in Pittsburgh, I didn't want to pay for a gym membership because I had some weights at home. I had F45, but I couldn't really lift to like my full capability just because there weren't any squat racks there. So moving down here and trying tons of different training splits and seeing what worked for me was actually super freaking fun. And it wasn't until this past August that I really found the training split that works for me, and that's the training split that I am currently doing. That's the training split that my Cut 12-week training program is designed around, and I am so freaking obsessed with it. But yeah, the transition from D1 athlete to who I am now was really kind of a blur just because it all happened so freaking fast and like unexpectedly. Like, I was totally planning on having another like month or 2 doing gymnastics, doing my strength and conditioning with my team, and then all of a sudden it just all stopped, and I kind of had to fend for myself. But since I was a personal trainer, I had that knowledge, and it just kind of took me doing some trial and error to find what worked best for me. Next question, how do you get clients? So when I lived in Pittsburgh, I actually trained clients both online and in person, and a lot of my in-person clients found me either on Instagram or YouTube, so I guess just like exposure from social media. And then when it comes to getting all of my online clients now, they have all found me on social media as well, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram. Like, they have all come to me through social media. And then I do also have a few clients just from school and like from word of mouth, and those clients have shared with family members, but majority of my clients have come to me from social media. The next question says, when is the wedding? I don't think I want to say the actual date, but it is this year. So there's a little sneaky clue. It is in the year 2023. All right, last question, and my camera is on its last little like battery block, so we gotta make this one quick, okay? I love this question though. Best way to lose body fat, and is it possible to gain muscle mass at the same time? First of all, you cannot spot reduce body fat, okay? You've got to lose overall body fat. And the best way to lose overall body fat is to be in a calorie deficit while focusing on your protein intake. And if you want to make it even better, focus on your strength training, okay? And if you want to make it even better, maybe sprinkle in a little bit of low intensity, steady state cardio so that we can hang on to that muscle mass and primarily burn body fat. That would be my equation for the best way to lose body fat. Second part of that question, is it possible to gain muscle mass while losing body fat? Possible, yes. Hard, yes, but it can be done, especially if you're a beginner, and especially if you are just getting into strength training, okay? Because that's gonna shock the body, that's gonna elicit some results. And the more muscle you have on your body, the more calories your body burns at rest. So basically, it improves your metabolism, and your body will start burning some of that body fat because it knows that it needs the muscle to continue strength training. You'll improve your body composition. I'm obviously trying to like oversimplify this, but my camera battery is dying. It is freaking possible. It is just hard. You need to make sure you are prioritizing that protein intake, prioritizing your strength training, getting your low intensity steady state cardio in, and fueling your body properly in order to aid in that body fat loss and also maintaining or gaining muscle mass. But I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give this video a like, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you all next time.